Alright, this video is mostly for just the Alliance people, because most of the time people don't ask, you're not going to ask me for my build from YouTube. Look at my fucking YouTube channel. It has nothing but like troll videos and some songs I made 5 years ago on it. But a lot of people in the Alliance keep asking me for my builds, and I'm really sick of having to screenshot this shit over and over and over. I got 600 like more screenshots than I should have.
Check navigation.
Damn, she's loud as a bitch. We're not looking at that shit though. Nah, we looking at that shit. Alright. Little prelude. All of my builds that have like mod labeled on them, that's the build I probably use the most. And it's all my warframes are forma'd to be able to go into mod survival. If you don't know what that is, mod survival is T4 void survival. The enemies have a 200% damage increase, or they do 3 times the damage. It's pretty much objectively the hardest mission in the game, so I forma'd them to be able to do that pretty comfortably, and then I'll have specialty builds after that. So, you know, if this is like the most optimal way usually, and then like some other shit, and then there's always going to be like a little bit of a personal twist on some shit too. Let's go ahead and hop right into this shit.
Excellent armaments, operator. Please return covered in blood.
Why?
Safe and sound.
Why are you not muted? What the fuck? Alright. This is just your general mod Ash builds. Pretty simple. However, it's weird because we're going to start with an exception to one of my rules. And even though he doesn't have like a nice tank ability, he does not use quick thinking. Because I think his smoke bomb is so good that you can reliably, with this efficiency and this range, give yourself like enough window to just not get shot. Plus he has pretty decent stats anyway. So, you know. Also, this build is really good for shuriken. That's why I have such a high efficiency, and that's why I kinda neutered my duration down to a neutral state. I like throwing some fucking shurikens. Bitches hit like a truck. This is for duel. God damn, bro. This is for duels. Self-explanatory. I put some fucking health in that bitch, and I punch people in the head. Easy. This is oh my fucking god. No. This is Atlas. General use or punch build. I don't go really ridiculous with the power strength. There's not really a point to that, since most of it is actually just scaled off of how good your weapon is. The mods in your weapon, not your actual weapon. I like having this efficiency so I can just keep all my abilities up. Some people like a little bit more duration for the golems. I don't. Not on my mod build. Range, gotta keep a little bit of a decent range. Third ability is too good to pass up. You know. Also, all these energy siphons that are going to be in here, that's just for like casually playing. Usually, there's going to be corrosive in there if you're going in anything that's like actually difficult. This one is a map-wide or gaze build, where you just scan the whole map or you CC the whole map. It's really good actually, because the stone gaze lasts a long time. With a mediocre power strength, it will actually freeze them somewhat quickly unless they have a shitload of HP. Don't need a lot of efficiency or duration for this build. Just smack on the range, walk into a mission, or gaze the map. You got a shitload of scans, and you know, I guess they drop additional loot. I didn't even know about that shit, to be honest. But decent CC build with little added benefit. And this is a little bit of a meme build, where you just fucking, you got one big ass rumbler that hits for like like 6,000 damage or some shit. This is also a kind of a defense build with the Titanic Fracture. I wanted to see if you could make excavators completely invulnerable with Titanic Fracture. You can. Damn. You are so fucking loud. Holy shit. Yeah, and you can make it completely invincible. If you set it up just perfectly, the enemies just can't hit it. It's great. Next one. Banshee cream. Pretty self-explanatory. This is just an all-around build. I like resonating quake on my general use build, because if I want to just drop to the ground and wipe the map, that's my damn business, and that's what I'll do. And call me a noob if you want to. That's why you got 2% damage out. And the rest of this, it's pretty. I run quick thinking on pretty much everything. Just as a forewarning. Unless something is tanky as fuck, I will run quick thinking on it, because it is extremely potent mod. People will tell you it doesn't work, or they'll complain. They'll say that they get stun locked. If you get stunned by a quick thinking proc, what you need to do is don't just roll out or try to just run away. You need to jump straight up. It'll cancel out part of the animation, and the enemies in this game can't shoot up for shit. So stop bitching. It's good. It's really good. This is for people that want to have a big dick. You hit like a fucking truck. You can only use your ability like twice, but you hit like a fucking truck. The range is meh, but you hit like a fucking truck. The duration's pretty meh too. But big numbers equals big dick. Remember that. Now this is for the people that actually have a big dick. This is your daddy build. You have just a shitload of fucking strength, a shitload of duration. This is also my favorite Warframe in the game, because you can just do so much with this guy. With this build, you can still use his fire breath and his effigy. His fire breath isn't that great. It's just kind of a fun ability, but his effigy is really fucking strong. Drop his effigy on a defense target, just go fight some people, and come back, and like everything's just fucking dead. It's beautiful, dude. Awesome Warframe. You get like, you don't get 600% damage buff anymore. They nerfed that a little bit, but I still think you get like 500-ish. Really good, really potent shit. This build is for effigy. You don't use range on a Chroma effigy build. His effigy is not affected by range. You don't care about it. You go for a decent efficiency. This duration gives you max efficiency on the drain on your effigy. Not to mention you want some duration because you're still gonna, you have the vitality here. I would prefer to play this with like an ice Chroma if you still want to be tanky, but fire and electric tend to be better against like most enemies. And toxin, of course, like ice is pretty shitty for damage, but it does slow, however, so that's good. You have a decent power strength. Effigy hits like a fucking truck. It CCs. It gives you a buff in the vicinity around it. Dude, Effigy, do not sleep on it. It's a really good ability. And this build will still give you like 300 and something additional damage and a shitload of armor. Still a good build for that. And this is a bit of a... It's still in the works, it's still testing. Well, it's not in the works, I'm not really going to change this build anymore. This is pretty much as good as it's going to get. But this is for Lightning Chroma. What you do, you put on your Elemental Ward. Shit shoots you. Because of how Elemental Ward works, with this much power strength, it returns it back, it shocks the fuck out of them for like 2000% of their damage. So like, this is actually really potent in mod. Problem is, I can't, because you have to play Lightning Chroma, I can't really figure out how to play this build. Make use of the fact that when you get shot, it fucks people up, and not die in mod. So it's not mod worthy in my opinion. But it is fun as shit in like really open defense maps like Stolfler. It's fun on the plains. When it shoots you, and you just fucking die. It's funny as a bitch. This is a terrible build against armor though, so you need to run that full CP. Ember Prime. If I recall, yeah, I only have two builds for this fucking character. This is my general use build. People don't like the max efficiency. I don't know what to fucking tell you. The point of the max efficiency is not, and they're like, oh, you don't even have max efficiency because you have a hit in your duration. The max efficiency is not for Ward on Fire. If you were playing Ember and you were using nothing but Ward on Fire, congratulations, you're terrible. What you need to do is have this high efficiency so you can spam the fuck out of her two best abilities, and that's Accelerant and Fire Blast. Fire Blast is guaranteed to fuck somebody up, especially if they have Accelerant on them. The Fire Blast Accelerant combination is actually a shitload of CC. Fire Blast has a set range as well. It's a really fucking potent ability. The little ground shit you leave, like, who cares about that? Like, I don't think I've ever killed an enemy with that shit. I don't think an enemy ever gets close enough. Ward on Fire is something you just leave on for the extra DPS. Accelerant and Fire Blast are your bread and butter, and that's why you need this efficiency. That's why you need Prime Flow. That's why you need Quick Thinking, because somebody's going to shoot you in the face, and it's going to hurt. This is for making As it says, this is for making noobs mad. You just go max range with like a mediocre strength and just like walk through an excavation or something, or walk through an exterminate and just wipe the map. Beautiful. Trick to this though, if you're wondering why you're not hitting very hard, again, use accelerant. And now all of a sudden you're doing like 3 times damage with fire. Way more than that with this build. But accelerant is extremely potent. It's the bread and butter move for Ember. It's what makes her good. If you feel like Ember is bad, it's because you need to actually read her abilities. Next. No, this isn't the general use. I don't have a general use build for Equinox. I changed my build way too much. As a matter of fact, I think I used the Mimi build the most. Because the DPS build is fucking... I don't know, it bores me now. It was really cool when it first came out. It just bores me now. This is for supporting and buffing / tanking. I should put like the tanking in quotation marks because you're not really tanking. You're just making the enemies hit like shit. If I recall, with this support build, the enemies will do 25% of their damage, which is nice. You literally gimped 75% of their damage output, which is nice because when you really think about it, enemies in this game don't do much damage. They really don't, not compared to how much damage we do. And then so you're supporting the team by obviously fucking making the enemies hit like kittens, and then you can buff them as well. Decent buffs there. I just showed you the ability screen. If you didn't read it, fucking go back. It's what it fucking says. It's a support build. Jesus Christ. Okay. This is like everybody knows what this fucking build does. If you don't, you put down your 4, enemies walk on the 4, you shoot one of the enemies. Now your 4 has absorbed the damage that you shot into that fucking enemy, and then you poof, and you wipe the fucking map. Simple, easy, boring. For me. You still need this build because this build is extremely potent. Arguably the best DPS build in the game. But just like the Adirax, which is the best weapon in the game, shit is fucking boring. But it's okay. Because this is why you should play Equinox. This is a duality build that I made because I saw duality's augment. And I was like, augments are affected by your stats, so what this does is it makes your Spectre from duality when you shift. The duration makes it last 20 seconds, which is pretty nice considering you only have to switch every 20 seconds so you can actually use your other abilities. And the power strength makes your Spectre hit for 900% of your damage, which is a fucking shitload. So what you do then is you just use the Ignis, and you just give your Spectre the Ignis with 900% of your damage, or the Amprex if you're feeling like a total piece of shit, and then you go AFK. Game's over. I fucking love that build actually. It's really fun to use. Excalibur, we're not going to spend long here. You slash things. I use quick thinking instead of vitality and the other shit because it gives you more effective HP. I use chromatic blade because why not? Why wouldn't you use that? And then this is another build, and that's another build. Like honestly, pretty like we're not even gonna talk about fucking Excalibur. That's easy shit, dude. If you needed a build, you saw the build. Now this build is what I use the most on him. I like it quite a bit. As a matter of fact, I pretty much never use a bubble build. But Hydroid, oh my god. Frost has really good CC. His ulti will freeze them for a fucking long ass time, bro. Look at this shit. 8 seconds, dude, on a freeze. That is wild. Then you can just recast this shit. It's nice as a bitch. This shit has a nice range. Slows them by 67%. Bumps them out of the fucking thing. It's good. This is nice too. I don't know how much does that slow by, because I think I'm running ISO even impedance. It doesn't actually tell you how much it slows by. I'd imagine that's based off power strength. It may not be. I run both of these augments because this build is mostly used, as you can see, for higher crown. Chilling Globe is really good in higher crown. The enemies just can't deal. ISO wave impedance, really good in higher crown, especially with this wave. With this range. I use both of these even if I'm up against Grenier, because I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. Don't care to change something like this for like what, an extra 15% power strength or some shit. Not really that big of a deal. Not much else to say about that. It's just a CC build. This is for having a big dick bubble. Didn't even care about the Excalibur slot here because I just don't even use this build. I'm not gonna format it 2 more times or 1 more time for this. Especially since I think that conflicts with this build anyway. But you know, this is for having a big dick on your bubble. Armor affects the bubble, that's why I have both of these here. I mean, what else can you say? It's a nice bubble. Bubble has a nice big dick. It's probably my favorite dual build though, because Frost has a shitload of base effective HP, which is like really fucking bolstered by having Prime Vigor, Redirection, Vitality, and Steel Fiber. Also, you can run this if you want to be a dick to somebody, and you can just block and channel, and it just fucking kills them. Like, it's great, dude. I usually take this off if I'm dueling people I like, so no, don't be an asshole. Don't make it unfun to duel you if you're dueling your friends. Gara. She's pretty new, but like this build does everything. This build uses all of her abilities to their like perfect amount. Like there's no reason to use anything other than this. Some people go for higher duration, and one of my friends that actually does go higher duration, he outright admits that it's just like the lazy build, which is fine. So like if you want to go for like a lazier build where you just put your 2 on something, where you just put your 2 on something and it makes it fucking basically god mode, then just go really heavy in the duration and just enough strength. The reason why this has so little strength is because at 129% power strength, you have enough strength to get 90% damage reduction on your 2, which is pretty fucking good. That's like a Trinity Bless or some shit. Actually, it's better than that. Yeah, it is. It's really good. Also, with this power strength, the mirrors, they hurt, because the range augments how many mirrors there are. So with this much range and that much power strength, the mirrors actually hit like a fucking train when they're just sitting there shooting them over and over and fucking themselves up. Your first ability is scales off your melee weapons, so your power strength just kind of messes with the base damage of it. And with this, I think it has like close to 1,000, if not more than 1,000 base damage. It's more than enough. You just smack something, hit it for like fucking 20k, no crit. It's nice. It's pretty simple. Duration. You probably could go heavier in the duration if you wanted to. I don't think it's worth it. You can just recast. And then of course quick thinking, because even though you do have a really tanky ability, you don't have much here. Like you have like base health, base shields, a decent armor. And like the thing is, when you go into mod, which is what this is built for, remember that, there becomes a point where any effective HP is shitty effective HP, and they're going to one-shot you through your shattered glass and everything. So this is where that comes in mind, and it really helps you out. It increases your effective HP by like a metric fuck ton. I don't feel like doing the math right now, but it's a lot. Every point of energy is 2.4 health. It's really good. I did the math at one point. And then yeah, these.
New alert mark on
I don't use anything.
Channel.
Goddamn, I don't use anything other than this. I'm gonna quit at fucking Hydroid and make a part 2. Harrow. This is my casual build. I find that this build is a lot more fun to play, but it isn't as good. And that's just an outright like admission. I don't think this build is as good as my try too hard build right there. But it's more fun to play because it's really casual, and I don't gotta fucking like go hard as a bitch. I don't gotta really manage my shit as hard, because that's what Harrow is all about. Harrow is literally a frame built around resource management. You're managing your resources on your 3. You're managing your resources when you're casting your 1. You know, so I gave myself a little bit of efficiency here, even though you don't really need it on Harrow if you're playing properly. And this is just a nice casual build for just like doing some casual shit. This is, however, the fucking build you go if you're trying really hard. You notice there's no quick thinking here, because you should be timing your shit right. You should be getting like fucking god mode You should have like a shitload of shields and all that kind of shit. You should be able to replenish. Things should not be shooting you. You should have them chained. All while having this low efficiency, so you need to use all these abilities. You need to have your thurible up properly and all that kind of shit. That's why it's called trying too hard. I don't use this build very much unless I'm like trying hard as a bitch in like a mod or something and I want to buff the fuck out of my team. But it's like it's not stressful to play because I don't know how you could be stressed in Warframe, but it is like something you gotta pay attention to. It's regular Hydroid. And this is my second favorite Warframe. I fucking love this frame, dude. He's so nice. There's so much shit he can do. I loved him pre-rework, and now he's even better after the rework. This build is for Tempest Barrage, mostly. This is the way I like to play him. You can use all of his abilities with this, and they all are very potent. Just enough power strength to make sure that Tempest Barrage hits like a fucking truck. I don't like to charge up my Tempest Barrage. This is post-rework, so you can actually charge up your Tempest Barrage. But I like to just have this high duration, that way I can lay down a shitload of them, and they all hit pretty hard, and they just cover an entire area in Tempest Barrage. Enemies can't move, they're getting completely fucked up. It looks really beautiful, actually. Which, unfortunately, because I didn't pay the subscription for this shit, because I haven't made a video in a while, it's going to be in like 1280 or some shit. So it's not going to look very beautiful, but it's whatever. Just know I don't play. It doesn't look like this when I play. Just general build. You can go into your puddle, you can smoop people up, just fucking suck on them a little bit or whatever, you know, you can you're all fucking creepy and shit. Underwater hentai. You just stay in your puddle the whole game. Like, you would think that if I was gonna stay in my puddle the whole game that I would have like a higher duration so that the channel would be less, but the channel in your puddle isn't very intensive. You're just gonna come out of it to get energy and then you can go back into it. The trick here is this range, that way you can smack people up from like forever away. You can scoop them up with the tentacle and drag them in. This is actually like a really potent defense build for Hydroid, because you can just hold people in the puddle, they can't do shit. It's really nice. Quick thinking, of course, because why would you not have that on Hydroid? He doesn't have, he's not taking shields are kind of terrible. Armor's not bad, but like, yeah. This is an alternate build for the first build. Has a little bit less duration, a little bit more strength. I guess this would be the closest thing to a Pilfering Hydroid build I have. I don't like Pilfering Hydroid. I think it's a shitty way to play a really good Warframe. And you'll see that with my Nekros builds too. I don't fucking build for Desecrate. I don't recommend making a frame and building them only for like farming, because then you're never going to actually play the frame for fun, and that's kind of a shame, because they're all fun. They're all extremely good. And with that one, I think, yeah, because I still got a fucking shitload of these bastards to go through. We're going to take a small break, or at least I want to try to minimize how many stutters that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this shit right here and start part 2. It'll be up in like the same day. Alright, coming back at you with that part 2. But I'm going to go ahead and start this off with, I suppose, a little bit of a... First of all, an apology. I have really bad asthma. That's why I'm going to be breathing like hard sometimes. I'm sorry for that. I always do that shit. If it's annoying to listen to, probably, I don't know, turn down the volume just a smidge. That way it's like in the back a little bit more. They're going to formally apologize for that. Secondly, because I completely forgot to address this in the last video, because I know it's going to fucking come up if somebody that isn't part of the Alliance comes and sees these videos. Fucking, the reason why you run a dash in every single one of my Warframes, dash in the aura. The reason there's a dash in the aura is because if you run any other aura, you can make your arguments for Steel Charge, you can make your arguments for Growing Power. You will not go more than 40 minutes in a mod without them just shrugging off everything. If you don't have 4 times CP, it's going to be trash. And I like to be able to take all my frames everywhere. Nobody's going to be like, oh, you don't have Steel Charge, you can't run with us. But they will say, you don't have Corrosive Projection, you can't run with us. I will say that. So, here's the thing. An enemy at that level, you might think, oh, well, you know, they only have 10% of their armor. 10% of their armor will mitigate 90% of your damage output. That is how armor works in this game. Shield disruption is also extremely useful. The two most useful auras in this game are shield disruption and corrosive projection. They're both dashes. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish auras didn't even have polarities. That way you could run whatever one you want, because I have some really cool shit I would like to do with some of these other aura mods, but not gonna happen. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Anyway, back to the builds. As it says, it's tanky as fuck. The cool thing about Inaros is that this is just all of this right here. This entire part is preference. I like to have this power strength. I like to have this range. I don't want to have any efficiency. You don't need it. You have rage, and you know, a duration, just whatever. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. Fucking hell. Because here's the thing. As long as you have rage, gladiator resolve, vitality, prime vigor if you have it. If you don't have prime vigor, I probably wouldn't run regular vigor. Regular vigor is pretty fucking terrible. I don't know. I just don't like it. It's not much worse than this. It actually is pretty worse. Like regular vigor. And then steel fiber. As long as you have this set of mods right here, the rest of this can be whatever. He starts with the dash and the Exilus, and I didn't feel like formatting it out. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you can call me lazy if you want, but you've seen my fucking arsenal. It's not lazy. But I just didn't. I don't care. I don't really care enough about the stats right here, because they don't matter. All that matters is that you have this much HP and you have rage. And, you know, just this kind of shit, just for the fun of it. Dual build, self-explanatory. It's a dual build. And then for cheesing in duels, it's literally the same thing, just with reflection. Because reflection is cheesy as fucking duels. Next, Ivara. Alright, general use Ivara build. Pretty easy. You'll notice a theme with these general use / mod builds. You utilize the entire kit. I can't stand builds that can't use, like, it's like, oh man, this is a really good build for Artemis bow, but you can't use anything else. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, decent power strength for the Artemis bow, decent range for your special little arrows and shit, decent duration and efficiency so you can actually use your 2 and your 3 effectively. It's nice. General use build, you can pickpocket with this build, you can do whatever you want with this build, and it'll be good. It's not like it'll all be shitty, but you can use them all. It's all good. That's kind of the point. And of course, again, quick thinking, as you know. This is mostly for the first ability. Matter of fact, it's pretty much what it's for. Cool thing about this, because of how her ulti scales off of your mods, you can still run and use Artemis bow with this much power strength. This build's mostly for all the different arrows she has. The sleep arrow in particular. Cloak arrow is pretty nice with this as well. This is a nice CC utility defense build. You know, the simple shit. Also, pretty good for prow. Sneak up on people, steal their shit. Because you have max efficiency on the drain here. Good shit. I enjoy it. And you can still shoot people. Good shit. Spy is homo. This is for not wanting to try and spy missions. Just all the duration and efficiency, even though that duration is pretty redundant with that efficiency. I know that. Range is whatever. But this is just, you just zipline through shit and use infiltrate. Just go through it. It's self-explanatory. It's easy as shit. Limbo. Ooh, some controversial shit right here. Alright. This is pretty much the only build that I actually use on Limbo. For Rift Torrent. Where you just get as many enemies as possible in your Rift, and then you just fucking use Rift Surge, and then you fucking do a shitload of damage. A shitload of damage. And what's cool is, people don't understand this, because of how this mod works. You do this damage based on how many people are affected by a Rift Surge while in the Rift. It just buffs your damage though. It's an outright damage buff to you. It's not like that damage is only good against them. You can leave the bubble and just shoot somebody in the face with like a 600% extra damage. It's nice. It's really good. So, you know, that's what this build is for. Quick thinking again. It's like that's a theme. I should just stop mentioning it. Let's see. Defense build, high duration, high strength. Just for a little bubble around like the defense pod or the excavator or whatever that you can just kind of, especially on like lower end missions, like they just die when they enter it. It's nice. You just explode it and recast it. It's whatever. I don't use this build hardly ever. I use this build more than I use this build. Let's be real. This is for when you want to be literally completely useless. Just fucking go into the rift and just go make a sandwich or something. This is Loki Prime. We all know what Loki Prime does. The only difference between my build and like literally every other Loki build you're gonna see is that I absolutely love Save Your Decoy. Save Your Decoy on top of Quick Thinking, I don't like even like 100-minute runs in mod, 100-minute plus. Like I don't die. I love this augment for mostly 3 reasons. The first reason is that it's an extra layer of protection because Loki has shitty armor. Quick Thinking's energy drain goes off your armor, as well as your the armor adds to your effective HP. It makes you feel a lot tankier than this, but still, Loki has like shitty armor, so he just gets domed even through his Quick Thinking a lot, especially in mod. So Save Your Decoy procs before Quick Thinking, and it just removes you from that situation. If you get shot as Loki, it's because you died to some AoE. Save Your Decoy removes you from that AoE, puts you somewhere else, gives you a little bit of god mode, and then you're good. You leave. This also does something, a little bit of a hidden benefit. It teaches you to use your decoy. Decoy is extremely potent ability. It's nice. It grabs aggro. It has way more threat level than you. So the enemies just fucking shoot it and they leave you alone. And it's so nice to remember to use the decoy. There was a third reason. I forgot. I'm not going to sit here and try to remember it. I'm just going to keep going. Save Your Decoy is good as well. Oh, it increases the casting speed by 50%. It's good. Use that. Max duration build. I don't use this. I will actually only really use this if I am trying to do like a COD to level a particular melee weapon. And I'll just go invis the entire time and shoot things. Obviously, I'm configuring. Simple shit. Simple shit, easy shit. Prime. This is the build I use the most. Just an all-around general build that you can actually use her pull, you can use her magnetize properly. Polarize is still pretty potent with this build. Crush is really nice with this build. It's all good, you can use it all. Her abilities are really nice. Crush gets slept on a lot. Crush does a nice amount of damage. It doesn't do like a ridiculous amount, but also holds enemies still. Your allies can shoot them and shit. Make sure when you're playing mag, if you feel like you're not doing anything as mag, try to use your pull and polarize more often. Polarize and then just pull all the enemies underneath you and then crush. Really good combination. And this is for deleting people from the game if they especially if I'm with a team and I got people on my team that will refuse to run corrosive. I'll just switch this over to energy siphon and go over to this build, and I'll use that armor against them because the polarize does a percentage of their armor as damage to them. If they have more armor than health, obviously I'm gonna shit on them. The duration makes the polarize cover the entire map because polarize works kind of like Nova's ultimate, and it works off your duration. I like this build for when I'm playing with noobs, so it's okay. I should have listened to myself. Sorry, still really tired. This is the only Mesa build there is for me. I tried all kinds of different builds. I tried the builds where people just sit and fucking peacemaker all game. I can't handle it. I don't like it at all. I like having a nice duration. Well, I mean, you need one anyway now because of the way the ultimates work. But, a nice duration for your shadow shield makes you tanky. There's 95% damage mitigation against bullets and shit. Good stuff. Efficiency, that's kind of the one that's up in the air. There's not really much debate about range. There's kind of some debate about duration. But efficiency, you're gonna go for the efficiency that you feel comfortable with. This is what I feel comfortable with. I feel like I can use my abilities at will without any problems at all. That's it. There's nothing over here, don't worry. Mirage. For the longest time, I thought there was only one Mirage build, and it's basically the Chroma build, max power strength, max duration. Not max duration, but really high duration. And just, the reason why you don't need any efficiency is because her third and her first ability are both 25 cost abilities. So even with no efficiency, they don't cost shit, and you have a high duration, so you're fine. People don't think the first ability is worth even using anymore because of the nerfs to it. Well, I think the nerfs are pretty retarded. I don't think anybody was complaining about Mirage. Not that you should really nerf anything in a PvE game, to be honest. This game is easy as a bitch, and no matter how much you try to nerf everything, nothing's gonna get hard. But anyway, this ability is just for buffing yourself with your total eclipse and using your clones to do a shitload of damage. It's self-explanatory, easy as shit. And this is one of my favorite builds in the game. So we use Explosive Ledgerman, which turns loot and ammo pickups and shit into mods that deal that as a base damage, but it scales off your power strength, so mine's actually like 500. A 60% proc chance. I don't remember what that proc is, but it's like all kinds of different shit. What you do with this is you just press 2, and you make all the ammo pickups and all the kind of shit on the map bombs. And the enemies like try to walk up, and they just fucking get destroyed by like the amount of bombs that you have all over the place. With this range, they hit pretty decently hard. It's nice shit, dude. Pretty good. I enjoy it. Enjoy it a lot. Equinox Prime. Kind of a controversial set of builds here because I don't have a Desecrate build. I don't think Desecrate is what you should build Nekros for. I don't like building these frames for farming. It kind of defeats the point of playing the frame, in my opinion. It's nice, like having a build for farming is okay, but play the frame for fun as well, not just for farming. That being said, I don't use this build very much. This is the Shadows build. I used to like I had a build for my original Nekros. That's why he has 6 formulas. I'm actually going to show you that real quick, just as a little Easter egg. But back in the day, I used to be able to use this build and get 20 shadows. But they nerfed it because I guess people play this game on their toaster, and they nerfed it down to 7. This build still makes the shadows hit like a train, still makes them really potent. It's good shit. Self-explanatory for shadows. I don't run Shield of Shadows, by the way, because shadows have higher threat level than your Nekros, so you can just kind of not get shot. That's not bad. Plus, you have quick thinking. There's not really a point to Shield of Shadows, in my personal opinion. This is my general / CC build, though. I love this build. I think Terrify is his best ability. I mean, think about it. You hit somebody with Terrify, and they can't they're not going to shoot you. Then with Creeping Terrify, they're just running away. You literally just completely neutralized an enemy, which is nice. It's completely good. Soul Punch, I don't really use that shit. You can still use your shadows on this build, even with this duration, because the efficiency is so high, you can just recast. This is also like the closest thing to a build where I'm going to have Desecrate on when I'm playing this build. The build's not for Desecrate. I don't run Despoil. I don't like it. I don't run like the Equilibrium and the fucking health conversion and all those kind of stats and all that kind of shit. I don't really care that much. I like to just go for the hard stats and not really worry about anything. That's probably the most controversial my builds get, is that like, a lot of people are going to agree with how I build him, but that's okay. That's not my problem. General use build, pretty neutral stats, 200% strength. This is the baseline shit, you know. Just a build that uses all the abilities, just for general use. I take this in a mod. It's pretty okay. The reason I don't have a quick thinking on this is because you can reliably use your ring shield or whatever the fuck you call it, and be okay. It's whatever. You might go down every once in a while, but everybody goes down in mod. Like if somebody tells you they go like 100 minutes in mod and they don't mess up one time and they never go down, they're bullshitting you. Like it happens. It happens to the best of us, and I'm part of that, the best of us. I could tell you. Anyway. I fucking love this build. This is for Pyroclastic Flow. Just run around, hit people with your first ability, and then you kick them for like 100 and something thousand damage. It's nice. It's not good, but it's really fun. I enjoy it a lot, and that's really important. Some of these builds are just for fun, as they need to be. Just like this one, it's a dual build with just all the fucking movement speed on a character that already has a passive Maglev. This is. I've heard a whole bunch of things. I've heard this is extremely annoying to fight against, and I've heard it's extremely fun to fight against because you're just dashing all over the fucking place. Am I amazing? Jesus Christ. My bad, guys. But this isn't really for, like, random people anyway. This is mostly for the Alliance. General Nidus build. It's Nidus. Most of us are going to know what Nidus does. If you're looking for builds on Nidus, then you already know why this is potent. Just a little bit of range, a little bit of strength, because he scales with stacks anyway. He's extremely potent that way. Don't need much efficiency because you get a return on your efficiency, but don't go negative in your efficiency either because there's not really a point. You don't need that. You don't need that much strength. Duration is nice for like your link and shit and your ultimate, but the trick to playing like a Nidus, like an all-around Nidus build, is to don't go OD in anything. You do need vitality and steel fiber though. Like, it's too good to pass up on him. This is for buffing. That's his power STD. Just buff.
Tenno,
somebody.
a new alert has begun. It will be marked on navigation.
I actually hate you, Lotus. I don't like this dual build. It's just here. It's okay. It's nothing special. It's not particularly fun. It's not particularly good. You're not gonna win any platinum tournaments with this shit. So, yeah, that's that. Nova, pretty self-explanatory again. Like, just I know I say that a lot, but it's just this is a slow build. You just slow everybody down. I will say though that if you're not using antimatter drop on Nova, you're not playing her right. You can use antimatter drop with like an optic core or something and just completely destroy the map. As a matter of fact, that's what this build is 100% designed around. So, slower, the speed Nova, where you go negative in the power stream, make the enemies go faster. And this build. This build's a little bit weird. It's going to be hard to explain to you what it does because it's something that you'll just have to see. Every time I explain to somebody what this does, they either don't understand or they're not impressed, and then they see it and they're like, holy shit. What you can do with this range and this strength is throw out an antimatter drop with antimatter absorb, and it'll have a big enough AoE that you can be inside of it and the enemies cannot shoot you. It just all goes into the antimatter drop. And then you bring something like an Orthos Prime or a Time Bow or some kind of pole arm or long weapon, and you just melee the antimatter drops. You're throwing out like 4 of these at once. And then when they hit the ground, it blows up everything for like hundreds of thousands of damage. So extremely potent, extremely good. And I run quick thinking on this, even though you don't need it. It's nice, but you don't need it. I just have it on there because I kind of crutch on quick thinking a little bit. Next Prime, again, it's just a nice little basic CC build, efficiency, neutral duration. I like to have a neutral duration. Some people somehow go negative in their duration when they're playing her, and I don't really get it. Oh yeah, because they run fleeting. I don't know. But quick thinking, even though you have assimilate, yes, because sometimes you need to leave assimilate. You need to leave assimilate to go somewhere. You need to leave assimilate to do some other shit, and you might get domed en route. So why wouldn't you run quick thinking? It's not like you need these fucking mod slots. You don't need prime flow either. You just don't need to use all these mod slots. That's why you use an augment, quick thinking, and prime flow. Because all you need for a basic Nyx build is range. Might be wondering why I'm running power drift instead of killing drift, and that's because I use the psychic bolts ability just to wipe map every once in a while. So a little bit of power strength is nice. Plus power strength just in general scales better than range. 15% range doesn't mean anywhere near as much as 15% power strength. Mind Freak build. Obviously, like, I'm not gonna completely finish forming her out just for this build that I've used like twice. So completely incomplete build. But you get the gist. I would literally just put what power strength mod am I missing? Intensify. Wait, intensify. That one actually missing. Oh. So what? Just one more format than this, and you can really use this build properly. Anyway, it's just for giving your fucking Mind Freak guy a shitload of damage. Effectively, if you finish this out and put a power drift in the Exilus, you would grab an enemy, and he would do 1,500% of its damage for you, just all for you. You grab a bomber and just starts wiping the map for you. It's nice. Duration, obviously you need some duration. Efficiency doesn't really matter. Range doesn't really matter either. It's just 100% a build for a mind freak. Oberon. Shield disruption on him. I can't remember why. General build, so you can use all of his abilities pretty effectively. He's pretty tanky with this build. He can do a lot of damage. He can do a lot of CC. It's nice. It's an okay build. I actually use this the least though out of his build because it's not specialized, and I actually like it specialized. This build is for tanking. Just hardcore tanking. The cool thing about this build though is because Smite's a pretty cheap ability, and you do have range and shit going on. You can still cast your abilities, and you can cast Smite, which with this much power strength just deletes everybody. Like it's quite a bit. Like you just smite a bomber and just wipe the fucking area. It's really nice. Good stuff. And a max range build for CC and damage. I like the efficiency on this build because you can just lay down a shitload of hollowed grounds and then just ulti, and it's really potent for killing people. And it's one of those things where even though it'll stop killing people after a certain point, it will never stop CCing people. People will always be shooting each other, they'll always be getting radiation procced, and with this much range they'll be getting blinded as well from your ultimate. Good stuff. Next, Ocatvia. This one's kind of hard to explain. Like when I show people my builds, they usually don't know why I would make these decisions, but they also can't really make up better things for themselves anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it's actually hard to explain like my decision making. I think all of my Ocatvia builds are kind of centered around how much efficiency they have. This is a bit more of a more lenient build. Has more power strength and a little bit less range, so this is a more focused build. So you throw out the mallet, you know, the metronome and all that kind of shit, whatever, and you just let it kill, but this is going to kill in a small area. And that's why it also has more efficiency. It doesn't have like anything that I'm crouching for or whatever. So you can, you know, reliably keep your abilities up with this build. You can reliably kill in a small area, and you can reliably keep yourself invisible and buffed and all that kind of stuff. It's not bad. And then there's this build, which I use more often. Has a little bit less efficiency, which actually hurts a fucking lot. I don't know what it is about going from 100 to 80%. I actually struggle with energy sometimes in this build, like to the point where now I just switch my arcane to energize on this one. And just, if I'm playing Ocatvia, I'll just put energize in her helmet just to still that shit. But the range augments the damage a lot because of the way that the shit works. The more enemies it has mesmerized, it hits harder. So even though it has less power strength, this one hits way harder. And of course, you know, more CC. Mallet obviously going to hit a lot longer. You're going to be able to buff from farther away. Self-explanatory. And I named this build, I don't know why, because I still to this day don't remember what I made this build for. I look at it and I don't get it. I mean, obviously the efficiency is way higher. I just don't see the point of it, so I'm not going to talk about it. Rhino. Here's the thing about Rhino. This is, in my opinion, the definitive way to play Rhino. You go, like, not neutral, but a positive in everything. And what you can do is you can use all of his abilities. This is something that a lot of people that play Rhino, they struggle with. They don't understand that he has abilities other than Stomp and 2. Iron Skin. His buff is extremely potent. Oh my god, sorry. His buff is extremely potent. You buff your team with this build, you CC with this build, you kill with this build, you're tanky with this build, and you can charge around and just fuck people up with this build. You can do whatever you want with this build. Iron Shrapnel is pretty good because you can refresh your Iron Skin with it. It also does CC in an area and Puncture Claw. It's nice. Really good. And it does pretty good damage too. This one is like your typical Iron Skin. I don't know how to play this game build. It's fun every once in a while to just be like, yeah, I put on Iron Skin. It's not that tankiest either. Like, you'll still just get fucked up if you try to take this in the mod. But it's nice. It's fun to like go into low missions and just not have to worry about it. And then this is like a max range CC build for him, which is extremely potent, surprisingly so. Even with this little bit of power strength, like you can just chain stomp people with this efficiency and kill them. But you can also just keep the entire map useless, which is nice. I think Rhino's an extremely powerful frame that gets slept on because a lot of noobs play him and they play him wrong. And then they never pick him up again once they start getting good at the game. Well, good at the game. A lot of, as we all know, there's a lot of Mastery Rank 24s out there that are terrible at this game. Saryn builds. This is your general all-around build. This is probably what I use the most because the other builds are so, like, not difficult to use, they're just not, I don't know, I just don't really use them very much. But, just a general build, so you can use all your abilities again, and do a shitload of damage. It's Saryn. This shit's pretty fucking easy. This is a tank build. You can tell I'm getting, like, tired. This is a tank build for tanking. Use regen, molt, vitality, quick thinking, constitution, all this good shit. All this stuff makes the perfect fucking storm of just not dying. Oh my god, I got shot. Well, here's me popping my molt and just leaving. You're gonna shoot your molt, you're gonna heal yourself. You have quick thinking as well. You have rage and quick thinking. They don't have the interaction they used to where they basically gave you god mode, but they do work off of each other. And it increases your effective HP a shitload. It's really nice. But you really can't use your abilities very well with this build. That's the thing. Like, you can use them, don't get me wrong. Like, you're just neutral and everything else. You're not like negative or anything, but it's not ideal. What you mostly are going to do with this build is just put on your 3, which is your damage buff, and then you're going to melee things while you are pretty much impossible to kill. And then this is just like a spore build. If you miasma with this build, like, you're not going to have any more energy left, but you will just wipe the map. It's pretty good shit. But you essentially just lay spores on something, shoot that one thing, and then the spores spread all throughout the map, and they just chain spread to each other as they get kills. So it just is extremely potent. It's really good. Even if you're not getting a shitload of kills, you will always have like top damage with this build, just because you're hitting everything. Like, you're deleting half of everything's HP, like, at the very least. So good shit. How many more builds we got here? Not very many. I'm just gonna finish the rest of these in this video. There's no point in taking a break right here. Sorry about that, my fucking microphone was whining or some shit, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, I'm not gonna like redo all 20 minutes of what I was fucking saying. I don't care that much, and it's not like you're here for the production quality. You're here because I have extremely potent builds, and you wanted to see them. And this is just mostly so people stop asking me for screenshots. It's not even really for YouTube anyway. But I'm just gonna cover it with some music. It'll be okay. But continuing on with what I was saying. Actually, I'm probably just gonna cut out the entire bit about Titania because my microphone cut out anyway. But Titania, this is the only build for her that I actually enjoy. I don't enjoy a lot of the other builds I see. It's because I need this efficiency and I need the neutral duration, and having too much strength or range doesn't really do much for me. I don't like it. It doesn't feel like it has much of an effect. The range will have a lot of an effect on your lantern, and that's it, but you don't really need to crush on lantern. Lantern's okay CC, it's not like the best CC in the world. So what you do with this build is, the reason you need this much efficiency is because you're going to be spamming, and I repeat, spamming your second ability to get that massive stack of buffs. Nice buffs, dude. And then you want to be able to stay in your ulti for a little bit. The ulti on this frame, I think it's because you're not on the ground, so you're not quite picking up energy orbs as well as you would, and since carrier doesn't work with it, or like any of your sentinels, their vacuum doesn't work with it, you kind of have a hard time finding energy on top of having to spam your abilities. So you're not going to, I don't know, you're just not going to be able to stay in your ulti all that much. So in that case, just make sure you keep your buffs up. Make sure you use your first ability to CC. Make sure you blow up your lantern to do shitloads of damage. Simple shit, you know. Easy shit. That boy shit. Trinity. Now this is for those selfish Trinities out there. I need to form her again, I guess. It just hasn't even really been like a priority of mine. Forming her for the Exilus or whatever. It just has not been a priority. I don't really care about the extra 15% of whatever. I guess it would be power strength, the 299. You don't really need that much power strength on her anyway. This is because you're already at the caps for your damage reductions, and that's all that really matters. This build is for using your link and your blessing to make yourself and the blessing for the team extremely, like, not necessarily tanky. Well, you're going to be really tanky, but your team will just have, you know, a little bit of a damage reduction to crutch on. The duration is nice because that means you don't got to worry about casting this shit over and over and over. But there is one drawback of this build, and that is that if you want to give somebody energy, they need to be deeply, deeply placed inside your asshole. 34% range. Like, they gotta be far in there to get any kind of energy out of this build. Which is why it says what team. This is for mostly you playing Trinity. And then this is for when your team is really needy and they're crying and they're like, we need some energy. And what you do is you just energy vampire shit and just fucking give everybody energy. You're like, okay buddies, here you go. Cast your spells. This is all for you. And they're happy. You're not very happy, but they're happy. And it's all good. This is for those needy teams out there. Valkyr takes a little bit of explaining because she is a not strange frame. It's just that she's kind of difficult to build for if you're trying to build for one particular thing, which is what most people do. If you're just trying to build for her ulti, you're gonna find problems in that because she is not supposed to just be played in her ulti. Not anymore. They reworked her. So what you do is, the reason I have this range, and the reason I have this efficiency, and the reason my duration is so neutral, because I actually want Warcry to end. I want it to end so I can recast it. It has a nice slow on it. And then you use, the reason it has this much range is obviously because that increases the Warcry's slow range. And then you can use your third ability. I believe it's the third ability. I don't really remember. My key bindings are pretty different. And it stuns them. And like, the stun doesn't sound like it would be much, but it opens them up to finishers, and that's really important on a frame like Valkyr that is pretty much a pure melee frame. You don't need much strength, especially not for your ultimate. Your ultimate already has really good base damage and it runs off your melee mods anyway. You don't need a lot of strength, and since everything else is kind of, you know, except for Warcry, it's kind of just based on range, it's okay. You don't need a lot. Unless you want to do this build over here. I fucking hate this dual build, by the way. This is your Warcry build. It's just for massive attack speed, infinite duration on your Warcry. You will be okay with this. You will just swing so fucking fast. And you're gonna pop in your ulti to lifesteal. Mostly, you don't run a steel fiber on this. You still have pretty decent armor, but you don't run a steel fiber on this. You just pop in your ulti, lifesteal yourself back up. You're good. Good to go. GG. Same thing you do over here, except you're going to be doing that often. You're going to go and do your ultimate, you're going to kill a few people, lifesteal back up to full. Stay in it for a while if you want to, because you have enough efficiency to stay in it for a while. Stay in it for a long time, actually. And then you just leave it and go back to fighting like normal. Whereas this, you just use your melee weapon all game. You don't really have the efficiency. Granted, your drain should not be that bad, because you have so much duration. But you really should probably just be able to kill everything with your melee weapon before it even shoots you. It's extremely potent. Vauban Prime. CC build, general build. Nice shit. Throw down your Bastilles, people can't move. Throw down your Vortexes, people can't move. Traps are okay, I suppose. Traps are okay with this build. They're not ideal because you have Bastilles and Vortexes. Keep a neutral duration because you don't want that shit to not last very long. It's already not going to last great. So just keep a neutral duration so you can keep this shit up. And then range and efficiency, it's pretty straightforward build. This is a trap build. It's really nice. Good shit. Tesla Link is slept on pretty hardcore because what you can do is put a shitload of these in one doorway and an enemy walks through it and they just get slashed like 6 times. Kills them out. It's not a ridiculous amount of damage, but it is slash, and I believe it counts as finisher damage. I think it's not mitigatable, but the Tesla Link. Go for the high duration for your Tesla coils mostly. Your traps themselves actually need it. You need max efficiency because when you're throwing out the shred and the concuss mines, which are extremely good by the way, throwing out these shred and concuss mines, and it will eat up your energy pool. You can have as many of them as you want, and they do a decent amount of damage. They don't do like a ridiculous amount of damage, but the point is that you're supposed to have like 50 of these fuckers in a corridor, and they just run in and just get completely fucked up. I enjoy this build. It's really fun. I think it's more fun than the CC build, even if the CC build's better. And then this is, I don't ever use this build. I just think it's really boring, but it's essentially just for long ass vortexes. So you just throw the vortex. It's that build that people used to take to a COD all the time, and they would just throw down like a 2-minute long vortex and then go make a sandwich. Volt Prime, another one of those frames that gets slept on a lot because a lot of people start with Volt and they think he sucks, and they're not wrong because regular Volt has terrible stats. Volt's one of those warframes that needs a lot of good mods to even really be functional in my opinion. This is an all-around build. I don't use this build very much because I don't know, it's kind of just replaced by the DPS and CC build. It's kind of just a worse version of that build in my opinion, but it has more power strength than that build, so that might be a draw. There's no change to your playstyle with this build. You just shock people, use your ultimate, use your shields, kind of chill. This is the build that it's pretty funny. I don't know why I have Ice Spring here. You can tell I didn't really care about this build. Just kind of wanted some strength and duration on there. But essentially, you just fucking hell, I just hit my mic. My bad. Not maximum, like a shitload of strength, a shitload of duration. Sonic fast, dude. Just run fast as a bitch. Hit things with your melee. Yeah, and that's literally all you do. That's it, GG. Alright. This is my favorite build for him. This is the build that I actually use a lot. If you see me play Volt, it's this build. Like, almost guaranteed. What you do with this build is because your range is so wide, and because of the way that the ultimate works, when it links to allied, well, their allies, not your allies, when it links to the other enemies, it will amplify the damage based on how many people are around them, which is based on range. So when you ulti, even though you have way less power strength than the other two builds, when you ulti them, it links them together, and it ends up doing so much fucking damage, it's actually kind of absurd. And then you can shock them with the one from across the map. It's really nice shit. With this, you can give your speed buff to pretty much everybody in like a really massive radius around you. And when this build does stop killing the enemies, which in mod is about 30 minutes in, is when I've noticed this build stops killing enemies, then it becomes an extremely potent CC build. Because while they're shocked, they can't do shit. They just sit there and they wait for you to shoot them in the face. Love it. This build is nice. I like it because it's applicable in literally every situation. You have enough efficiency to lay down shields and just like constantly lay down these fucking shields. You can buff your team reliably. You can use your ultimate whenever you want to. You can use your abilities whenever you want to. It's nice. I love this build. Favorite Volt build by a mile. Wukong, you just stay in God mode, man. That's all you do. I didn't even bother forming him one more time for the Exilus, because as you can tell, like, the only stat that matters on Wukong is duration. You could, I guess, get 15% more power strength if you wanted for the thing. That's literally all you would do, and it's not even really worth it. It would give you like what, like 100 more base damage, if even that. It wouldn't give you a lot. Nah, it definitely wouldn't give you 100. It would give you like nothing, pretty much. But what you do is you go the high duration. You need rage, you need vitality. Once you have rage, vitality, and a decent duration, congratulations, you will never die with this character. It's not gonna happen. If you have life strike on your melee, you will never die, because of the way that the defy works. And it gives you back like about half your HP usually. You life strike back to full, and it will cost you less energy to channel and use Defy again when you get shot down to 0, and give you that 13 seconds of God mode with this build, by the way. that rage will come back and just replenish the energy for you, especially with vitality.
New alert
So
marked
then,
on navigation tab.
after these two mods and life strike on your melee, everything else is just duration. You need these two, and you need Constitution. And then these three mods can be whatever the fuck you want them to be. Well, you need Prime Flow, I guess. You don't need it, it's just useful. It's really nice. It helps mitigate if you make like one mistake, you still have the energy pool to not get shot and die the next time. But essentially, I run Primal Rage. I think is really good for the staff. You only do 100% strength because the staff has like 500%, not 500%. The staff has like 500 base damage, which is a shitload for a melee anyway. It has a long ass reach. You're fine with a neutral strength, I promise. You will still one-shot everything. Especially with Primal Rage, when you get like that crit chance up. It's nice. Good shit. Streamline, I like it. It helps the efficiency a little bit. Like, all of this is literally just to augment his second ability. His Defy. And if you are really in a pinch, like you really fucked up, just jump into Cloudwalker, that bitch will last forever. Jump into Cloudwalker and just go somewhere else. Like, you can't die as this character. This is a bit of an experimental build. A little bit less duration, a little bit more strength and range. I think this was mostly for Cloudwalker CC. I was trying to like see if you could CC properly with Cloudwalker, jab things, that kind of shit. It was alright, but this build is definitely the better build for just not getting killed. And last, there's Zephyr. He's pretty underrated. Again, like, when I have these warframes, and they're not, this is my fishing build. When I have these warframes, especially Zephyr, you can tell she's pretty neglected. I haven't formed her out for Excalibur, but that's because you don't gain anything from it. 15% range doesn't really do shit. 15% power strength doesn't really do shit for this build either. So I figured it literally was not worth the time to re-level her again. You can if you really want to. I just genuinely couldn't be bothered. But this build is for, just general CC, I suppose. Her CC is mediocre on her tornadoes, but with max range, it's pretty potent. It's useful. This is for the shield too, though. With the shield, because of how it works, it'll deflect projectiles. And it's funny because it says it only rejects the projectiles, but hit scan weapons don't hit you either. So, like, I don't know. Just another one of those things where Warframe has terrible descriptions for things, but you're essentially immune to bullets as this character, which gets compared to Mesa, but I believe it's better than Mesa because you are Zephyr. You're probably going to be in the air, and you're going to be casting your tornadoes. You're going to be using your tail bomb and all that kind of shit. You're not going to get hit by melee guys. You're not going to be standing still. But on top of that, it will redirect the shit away from you entirely. That's why you need this max range, because the problem is if you don't have this max range, a bombard bullet, bombard bomb, whatever the fuck it is, will reflect off your shield just into the ground in front of you and kill you anyway. Same shit with like when a napalm will shoot at you or whatever. Same shit with like you'll notice when you're using this, which is again why the description makes no sense. A Moa will come up and beam you, but because your range is so long, it will just like go off the shield into the ground. But if your range isn't long enough, it'll just still hit you. That's why the range is necessary. Efficiency is just there because I didn't really know what else to put there. You don't need duration, don't need strength, it's whatever. This build's for fishing because jet stream, which is projectile speed, works on the fishing rod. So essentially with this much power strength and this much duration, you can reliably basically turn your fishing rod into fucking hit scan. It's not actually hit scan, but it's so fast it might as well be hit scan. I love it, it's fun. And that's all my builds. I'm not gonna go through like fucking guns and shit. I don't even really use guns anymore, to be honest. I'm not gonna, like, there's no point. I'll still just keep screenshotting those, but at least I got the frames out of the way. Quality, fucking terrible. I know some of my boys are gonna be like, man, that fucking quality is terrible. You're stuttering all over yourself and shit. Yeah, I don't care. This was for the fucking builds. That way I don't gotta screenshot that shit anymore. So GG, and and take care of yourselves. What the fuck, I was a screenshot.